So we've came back to Tom's garage again to look at this, and as you can see, he's made like a lot of progress on it. It's got a Hakosuka GTR front end on. Looks absolutely amazing, and he's also done some other things, so we're going to just have another look around and Tom to maybe explain what he's done so far again.
I zoomed the wrong way. I think it looks alright. Yeah, so as Liam said, made quite a lot of visual progress with it recently, although I've not done as much work as I would normally on the car, just because I've had the MX-5 back out now, so I've been driving that on the weekends and spending a bit more time in the MX-5 rather than on this, but back onto it now, dedicating pretty much all my weekends for the rest of the year, if I can, just until this is done, because I'm starting to stress a bit. But this kit is from a company called Carbon Signal. The guy Amir that I've been talking to has been really helpful with the kit. He's given me a good discount on it just because it's the first one in the UK. He's seen what I've done with the MX-5 and he wants a bit of promotion with the kit, which I'm happy to do. Straight out the box, I've sort of bolted it up the best I can. Well, it's not the best I can at the moment, but it's roughly bolted up. Everything could be tweaked, but even then, the kit and the fit of the kit is really good. The panel gaps are all pretty much there, just with a little bit of tweaking needed, which you would expect from any fiberglass kit. I've had much worse, and this one's really impressed me with the quality. Even just looking at how these over arches line up with the fenders themselves, there's not much of a gap at all. If not, it's flush. If you were using like one of those rubber strips to go around it, you'd be absolutely spot on. But what I'm going to do, I'll fill that with a bit more fiberglass and make it flush myself. The rear arches are also on. I've got two of the wheels that I've ordered for the rear to test fit. They don't fit on the front because they're too big, so I'm going to have to find something else for the front. But I'm pretty much set up to start finalising the bodywork and how the car's going to look in terms of stance, wheels, tyres and the kit itself. So this is the wheel I've went with. It's very cheap Japan Racing sort of mini light design. The reason I went with these is I could get these in 14x9, which pretty much everything else I can't. I could go with Watanabes, but they're fucking expensive. There would be like 1500 quid for a set, which when I'm sort of gambling with what wheels gonna fit, I didn't want to risk that. So I've bought these nice cheap wheels for now. Maybe next year or in the future I'll upgrade to some nicer wheels. I've also got these 225 R888 tyres. Funny story, these are pretty much the last set for sale in the UK. I got a good deal on them, which is why I ended up going with the 14-inch wheel over 13s or 15s. As fortune would have it, these are too big to fit on the front, so I've got 4 of these tyres, which should last me about 2 years, and then I'll have to look into different wheel and tyre setup options. I'll get a narrower wheel for the front with a slightly smaller tyre, and everything should be sound. So these have got a -25 offset, which, if I can get these to fucking fit, do it. There we go. Which is almost there. I'll need maybe a 20mm spacer or something just to bring them out a little bit more. Again, that's something I can play around with, and they should be pretty good for the rear. The wheel is hanging a bit forward at the moment because the suspension is down. As the suspension raises up, the wheel moves backwards a little bit, so it's central. But yeah, really happy with the look of these. I absolutely love the mini light slash Watanabe style wheel on the Sunny and the Hakosuka, which is what the front end's based on, so I know that's going to really suit it. Another big thing I've ticked off the list is the gearbox tunnel. I've got the seats mounted. I've got one of them in there, just the driver's side for now. I went with Sparco Sprints again because they're comfortable. That's what I've got in my MX-5, and I've drove for like 3 hours, 4 hours in the past and never felt comfortable with them. It's also a small seat, so I know it's going to fit inside the Sunny. So I mounted them seats in, took some measurements, and I've now made the gearbox tunnel, which has covered the RX-8 box. I've also got the handbrake mounted in now. I just need to figure out what I'm going to do with the actual cable itself, because I've got to adapt that to the S13 rear brakes. And also on the passenger side, I've added a raised section, which is where my exhaust is going to go down. The exhaust has to come down underneath the oil pan and down the passenger side. I can't get it down the driver's side just because the car's so narrow and tight. I couldn't take that room out of my footwell, otherwise I'd have like no clutch pedal. So I've got the prop shaft made. It's got an RX-8 on this end and S13 on this end. There's a company fairly local to us that made this for me. Basically just took both prop shafts in and said make it this long. I also had them modify the standard S13 drive shafts. They cut them, narrowed them and friction welded them back together. Supposedly that friction welding is meant to be as strong as the parent metal, so them shafts should be absolutely fine now. If you look inside the truck you can see them. Because the diff is offset, one of them's a lot shorter than the other one, but I was quite happy with the quality of them again. It's going to be a bit more of a pain if I snap an axle, then I'll have to go and get one custom made again, but hopefully they should be strong enough being from an S13.
Do you want to talk about the MX-5 axle?
I snapped an MX-5 axle recently, which to be fair, looking at this 13 ones, they're like half the width, so it's not surprising. I'm also running 400 horsepower in the MX-5, which I won't be in this. Something might change recently with the MX-5. I'll have to wait and see how that pans out, but if that change happens, then I'll also be turboing this. So comment if you think I should.
Everyone comment.
So yeah, for everyone that didn't know, K20 is in the car, mounted to the RX-8 box. I've got an aftermarket intake manifold for it. I've got the, the AC/power steering delete kit from K-Tuned. Pretty much all else I'm going to do with this engine is just clean it up, change some gaskets, paint it. I'll probably add some AN fittings to the cam cover for the catch can, but there's not much else I'm going to do at the engine. It's a really good engine to start with, they're really strong, so if I do turbo it I'll probably aim for 300-350 horsepower, which these are known to do quite reliably. I've got a friend with 400 running on his, and that's been sweet for the past 6 months or so. People run it for a lot longer. I'll just have to see how it pans out. As for the rest of the engine bay, I am going to get rid of this master cylinder because I'm going to have to move them inboard with a Willwood pedal kit to make room for the exhaust. I'm also going to remove the window wiper motor and move that inboard. You can do that quite simply and that will clean everything up. I'll probably put a catch can in this corner, find somewhere else for the wiper fluid, and then just stitch weld, clean it all up. Probably do stone chip coating again like I did in the MX-5. I was quite happy with how it looks. Smooths everything out and hides any small dents, that sort of thing. If you haven't seen the other video or the previous videos, I've got the pushrod suspension in now as well. I'm quite happy with how this has went together. I've got a few tiny tweaks to do. I might need stiffer springs, and I need to make slightly longer push rods because I underestimated how much the suspension was going to travel. Again, the stiffer spring might sort that out, so I might not need to, but that's probably something I'm going to wait until it's rolling and driving and see how much it actually needs before I start buying more things. As for the rest of this bed, I've got a fuel tank that I need to make, which is going to sit here in this gap. I should be able to get 40-50 litres out of that quite comfortably. The front end I'm probably putting Front end, I'm probably going to put a military style missile box or something. It's about the right size, it'll be about this big, and in there I can put my battery and maybe it's a kill switch or something. The rest of this is going to be plated over, so I'm definitely plating over the sides, the back, with a hole here for the fuel tank. I'm obviously going to plate over here for that box to go on top of, but I'm probably going to just dress up these corners with a nice radius and leave this centre section open. That way you'll be able to see the subframe, the diff, the axles, and then all the suspension on show as well. But that's all to come.
It's all to come.
I'm also debating whether to make this cage bolt-in. I'd much rather have it welded in because it'll look a bit more legit, but at the same time, for servicing things like my diff, the suspension, and even just painting inside here would be so much easier with this bolted in, so I think that's what I'm going to do. Bolt-in plates on where all the legs connect, and I'm also going to bolt through to the door bars when I make them, which will be shortly. I just need to order some more tube, and that's pretty much all I need to do on the rear end now. It's all kind of coming together, but at the same time there's still a shitload to do.
Still loads to do. So I'm just going to demonstrate me getting into this car. The first time seemed hard, but Tom told me the special way of doing it, which made sense of it. It's a bit of a squeeze. Tom's about 5'6", aren't you, Tom? Something like that.
And a half.
Yeah. Tom will fit in this a lot better than me. Adam probably won't fit in this whatsoever.
Well, even for me, it's a bit cramped.
Yeah. I think when it's all sort of, the seats can't go any further back, can they?
No, it's all the way back. Yeah. My knees are at a similar angle to Liam's there.
Yeah, I think Tom mentioned like just the position of the pedals and stuff's a bit awkward as well, isn't it?
It's just because the car's so short, but yeah. I'll get used to it.
Yeah, so we're going to obviously keep updating people with this car. Tom's put like a crazy amount of work into it, and you can just tell from sort of the quality as well. He's obviously really good at doing it. He's got a lot of fab work to do still, I think, haven't you, Tom?
Yeah, bits of metal work.
Yeah, he's got bits of metal work to do. Obviously it doesn't completely need rebuilding, but he's made massive amounts of progress. The front end looks so amazing now. So yeah, we're going to keep obviously updating people on this. He's decided a little bit, I think, about doing the colour. And haven't you, Tom? I think you've kind of made a decision.
I've messed about with Photoshop. I'm pretty sure what I'm going to do with it now. Yes.
His ideas are really good anyway. It's going to be incredible if he does go ahead with it, which I think he probably will. Yeah, so we'll update everyone next time he makes progress on this. You know, it's going to be insane. So thanks for watching. Stick around because you know this is going to be insane.
Keep your dick in a vice.
Puff.